everybody. Hope we have audio.
Yeah, we do. We're good.
Last minute, oh crap, I forgot to plug this in. Oh man, oh my God. Anyway, hey everybody, welcome back to Nerd Talk. I know we ain't been here in we haven't been here in what, 3 weeks?
Close to that, something like that.
Yeah, poor Austin. He's getting thrown into the limelight whether he likes it or not. So I just want to kind of give a rundown on what's going on. I don't know if everybody's already read online or not, but Mark is going to have to take he's taking a hiatus, or actually not even a hiatus. He can't even do that poor kid, he can't do anything right now. His epilepsy has gotten so bad that he has to literally kind of drop off, which sucks because we all love Mark. And then poor Amanda got her shift change, whole 9 yards. So now she's working she's working the crazy shift, right? It's like 3 to midnight or something like that.
She's got some wacky shift.
I know, and I feel bad for her, but she got to work. It is what it is. We all love her, and I am trying to do 2 things one time. I am so sorry because I am all over the place. But yeah, so we've really kind of lost. We've lost two wonderful people for the time being. So Austin said, "You know what? We can do this." And so we're doing it, and we're just going to make the best of it and all that kind of fun stuff. And here we are. So here we go. We've been away. It's not that we've been slack, right? That's not what we've been. Oh my God, Austin! I'm just looking at your camera online. You look like you're like Mr. Spooky. And here I am all lit up and bright and everything. We're going to have to work on that next week, make sure that all looks really super good for you. So, but yeah, so anyway, we've actually been, we've been very busy.
Yeah, we have.
Especially
back and forth from Florida, Georgia, all over.
Yeah, my ass has got road miles that I kind of don't want, but got them anyway. But yeah, so I mean, oh my God! So I know what I wanted to talk about. Remember, we kept saying though, there's that one thing, there's that one thing. Oh, there's one thing.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing is I went to Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh, that's right. How was that?
I don't know if you can. I don't know if you have the ability on the fly. So it's one of those things where I've been going now for almost it's 2024. Started going in 2012. So about 12 years, other than COVID years. We all missed COVID years. And so I got, for my Father's Day, right? I got Father's Day gift. And so my son took me to Halloween Horror Nights pre-opening. So it was the night before they opened up. And let me tell you right now, it didn't disappoint. Only, I think it was like 2,000 people there, maybe 3. They fed us, so you could go. Now, you couldn't go into the places like the Irish pub and anything that's high-end meals. They fed you park food, but still, that was really good. You know what I'm saying? So we literally ate our way around the park. Alcohol was not included, but sodas and I think Cage got a shake at one place, which was kind of nice, right?
Yeah.
So we are recording, right?
Yeah, we are.
Whew, my brain's all over the place. So we literally ate all the way around the parks, and then we were able to do the parks, the houses twice. If we do them as many times as we want to. But there was a couple you really kind of just didn't want it. You know, I love the fact that they always try to rebrand. So they always have this house where it's the original Universal Studio monsters, right?
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of cool, right? It's every year. It's always talking about Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Wolfman, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And it was okay. I don't know if do you have any? Do they have images of the?
I just pulled up. Here's a little where they're showing off their 10 new haunting houses. They got a Quiet Place themed, a Ghostbusters theme, an Insidious theme, and a few other themes they got going on there.
So let's see. A Quiet Place, really good. Ghostbusters, outstanding.
Really?
Insidious was really good. Universal's Eternal. That's the one that was more about the Universal monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And go back to that again. And what was the other ones?
The other ones on the list, the only one that they got showing there is the Eternals, but on the website, I'll pull it up in just a second, they got a Slaughter Cinema 2, a Trees Monstros, a Museum Deadly Exhibits one, a Major Sweets Candy Factory exhibit.
Oh, that one was nuts.
The candy one?
Yeah. Crazy.
That's at a Goblin Feast, and the party is over, and so are you, Triplets of Terror.
The Triplets of Terror. Okay, so that's the one we didn't go through twice. Kind of really didn't know anything about that one. Cage said it was a movie.
Okay, I had never heard of that movie, to be honest.
Me neither. And, he goes, oh, that was some cult classic, blah, blah, blah. The Goblin Feast, bro. Okay, you're going to make this going to sound weird. Out of all the houses, typically when you walk into Halloween Horror Nights, when you first walk into the park, it was actually like you can smell the fog, right? The
Really?
haze.
Like flavored or scented?
Yeah, it's always this musty, bacony ham smell, which is kind of cool because it kind of gets you in the mood, right? But the Goblin's Feast, that house smelled delicious. And I know
Like what?
they're supposed to be cooking humans, which really bothered me that I'm sitting here going, they're cooking people, and I'm liking it, right?
Yeah.
So, that one
image
smelled
from it.
really, really good. The Triplets of Terrors. Okay, so actually, let's go. The Candy Factory was all about. They took these school kids into this candy factory, and the kids got all chopped up, and they got all beaten up, and they were stuck in the candy, or they turned it. It kind of reminded me of Willy Wonka.
Really? Did they have like kids and stuff?
Oh yeah. Well, they had little people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it reminded me of Willy Wonka gone bad. Okay, like take Willy Wonka and make it evil. Not that it's not already
Like the
kind of
Johnny
evil.
Depp Willy Wonka or the OG?
Yeah. So and let's see, go back to it, and then the other one was the Museum Deadly Exhibits. Basically, it was like someone went on a dig,
Mm-hmm.
and then they brought all these things back that they all came to life, mummies and goblin. And actually, there were goblins everywhere in this one. But the one thing that I did that it didn't turn me off to it, but their scare zones were just not scary.
What's a scare zone?
Oh, okay. Okay, so when you walk in, they don't hit you full face from the get-go.
Okay.
And we got there early, so it wasn't dark, and by the time we left, it was really dark. By the time we got there, though, it was still dusk, and it was kind of like peeking behind the curtain. So
Okay.
it wasn't scary, but normally when you walk in, there's, Universal Studios, you take your pictures, everybody's taking your pictures, and then you hit the first scare zone, which is all these. See, when we first walked in that one, they were chainsaws, which is everybody wants to get chased by a chainsaw now. And then you got into these ghouls and goblins again, and people that have been, I guess, terrorized, and then they escaped and all that kind of stuff. Well, so typically they're really on you. I mean, on you. They're like right at you going, chainsaw chase. It just didn't happen.
Like it wasn't scary, or they didn't have the chainsaw people.
They had chainsaw, but they just weren't scary.
Oh, okay.
The problem, I think what the boys, my guys, especially you'll have to come down, is that, oh, good Lord. I hate when they try to tell you. Normally it's just, that my guys, when they put me first to see if I have a reaction, right?
Right, yeah.
And then
because you don't get scared.
They think it's funny. Well, I don't scare easy. And as we're walking through the house, Cage is behind me, and I start doing this. Right?
Yeah.
I'm pointing left and right. And that's what I'm doing. So I kind of messed it up on. I apologized, and he goes, I didn't even know what you were doing. So the next house, I let him go first, and so I wanted to see. And dude, they got it wasn't scary stuff. It's all jump scare stuff. Yeah. It's all just out of the corner, because what they do, they'll hide in these little side walls or in these little side holes, and when they get to you, then they'll come out at you. And it's like, So, but anyway, but other than that, it was pretty good. I definitely I enjoyed it, and so yeah, it was good.
How does it rate compare to past years?
Boy, that's a good question. I think it was 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
1 out of 10. I would say this year was probably a 7.
All right. So it was a good year.
But compared to the last year I went, last year was better. I think COVID hurt everybody. Mm-hmm. And I think what happened is they were kind of trying to not come back like super duper in your face, and I think that's what happened. So I think they're going to work their way back up to getting scarier. Now, by the time we left, so if you know Universal, when you first walk in, you can go straight or you can go right. Right. Now, if you go right, that takes you back to the back end where you have E.T., you have the Monster Show, you've got Barney, you got Simpson World, and then you've got Men in Black, right? I shouldn't know this well, but I do. But if you go straight, that takes you into New York City, where they have the Rock and Roller Coaster on this side, or whatever the roller coaster is over here. Then they've got the Jimmy Fallon ride. And then you take a right, which used to take you down to the wharf where Jaws, but now it's, you got the Mummy back there and all. So we went straight and went around. By the time we got around to, and this is after eating and doing some of the things a couple of times. By the time we got around to where Men in Black is, it got dark. And then, but the scare zones were very few. So what was different about us going when we did was the fact that none of the rides were open. Right?
Oh, okay.
So when none of the restaurants were open other than the ones where you could eat for free. That's what that was. So what we're not used to it being so quiet. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you think that helped, or do you think it made it worse with it not being the full open?
It made you very aware that you were going to get scared somewhere.
Okay.
And with all and so when you go normally, like all the rides are still going. Matter of fact, we haven't had time to go into not Hogsmeade, but we got to go into the Harry Potter world and actually get a frozen butterbeer for free. A
That
little
sounds
one.
pretty
It's
cool.
a little one though.
Yeah.
He gave you a little one. You
Hey,
know
it's
what?
still pretty cool. You got a free one.
Yeah,
So
you
are
got a
these
free one,
scare
right?
zones? Are the scare zones like scarier when it's more open because it's
It
more like,
is.
blended in?
It is exactly so because they have a tendency now with all the ride noises and all the activity that goes on around. It's more your sensory now has been opened up, and everything's a blend, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So when you get scared, when you get jump scares in the scare zones, that makes it more scarier for me. But when it's super quiet and you can kind of see what's going on down below you, you know, and out in front of you as you're walking in,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, I'm getting myself ready for this.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Your body's already prepping for
Yeah,
it
yeah.
because you know you're walking right
Right.
into it.
So now, would I do it again the pre-day? Absolutely, because I got to eat. I could go on I could go on them multiple times and not have to wait. I mean, I
The
think,
haunted houses.
huh?
You mean like the haunted houses? Because
Yeah,
the
the
actual
houses
rides are closed.
Yeah, normally this is the way we've done it for years,
Okay.
right? And I save up for this because this is my one big hoorah. So you go in and you buy. You never go on a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, ever.
Really?
Nope.
So wait, when do you go? Like Thursdays?
I go no Thursday, no Friday, no Saturday. I always go on a Wednesday or a Sunday.
Sunday's an interesting one, I feel
Well,
like.
I'll tell you why Sunday, because everybody's got to be at work the next day.
Oh, okay. So then
See?
they're not staying later, yeah.
Right. So now, it's not as many people. Now, it's still full, but it's not as many people. So I go on a Wednesday and a Thursday, and I buy a fast pass.
Smart. How much is that like a big time increase for you, or is it not much of a, like how big of a line skip is it?
Yeah, typically if you have your fast pass on a Wednesday or Sunday night, you're not going to wait more than 25 minutes.
Those pretty good wait times, especially down in Florida. I mean, every
let me
amusement
tell
park
you,
in Florida's long.
Without it, the wait time's an hour.
What?
When you get into Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Yeah.
the wait times can be 200 minutes.
That's insane.
It is.
Actual insanity.
Yeah, so I made the mistake the very first time I went. We went on a Friday night and we stayed overnight, and so that way we had a hotel on Saturday and
yeah.
we made a weekend of it, right? Because we've been pass holders for way too many, almost 20 years. Okay.
Wow. My whole life almost.
Huh?
So that's almost my whole life.
Yeah. I've been going there probably before you were born. But you get in there. Actually, I've been going there longer than you've been alive. That is so funny. So funny.
Does it age you a little?
It does age me a little bit. Shut up. Two of my favorite rides, period, have always been Jaws and E.T. And I think they just closed E.T. down, and Jaws has been gone for a while. They put Hogwarts in the place of in the place of where Jaws was.
Jaws is a pretty like legendary ride, though.
It was one, and then they had Earthquake. I mean, first they had Kong. So you would go through the city with Kong, and then they turned Kong into Earthquake, and then they turned Earthquake into oh God, I'm definitely dating myself. A cinematic experience, and the guy that talks like this all the time. I'm not doing. I'm James T. Kirk or whatever is but anyway. They did a whole experience thing, and you got to go in there, and then you were they showed you how stuntmen fall off buildings onto stuff, and then they showed you this black screen. I know you may be too young for this, but back in the day, we used a black screen, and you could project on the back of it, and you could do a whole thing, right? And you could walk through. And so anyway, they did all that. So they oh my God, we have literally killed almost half the show talking about freaking Halloween and Universal. But anyway, so the first time I ever went, we went on a Friday night. Oh my God. I only got to half of the houses.
Jeez.
And not even the good houses, because we didn't know, right?
Well, you went to the smaller lines on purpose, just hoping.
Going, oh, we'll just go this short one. So then we learned. We went out, started going on a Wednesday. We went on a Wednesday, and okay, it got better, right? And then we got our fast passes, because back then, if you stayed in the on-site hotel, your card was your fast pass in the very, very beginning.
Oh.
Now it's not. You have to buy it.
Yeah.
So, and I think Universal stopped the way cause what happened was we would get there on a Wednesday night. Since we were pass holders, we would go eat at the Irish pub and have dinner. And then once, we got there a little bit early. So once we were done eating, it started getting a little bit darker. And then we went out, queued up, and then we were on our way because we already had our Halloween Horror Night passes. Mm-hmm. But then we got our fast passes and learned, and dude, on a Wednesday night, the first Wednesday night we did, it was me, my two boys, and a friend of ours. I think it might have been Ed. We went in and we were done. It started at 7 and we were done by 10:30.
Is that like when it closed, or that's just when you were done?
No, it closes at like 1 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
It's
open
late.
to all like 7 days a week? Because you're talking about Wednesday. That's
Wednesday
like
through Sunday. Monday and Tuesday are normal days. Yeah. So we got it. And on the way out, because back then they didn't keep track of how many times you used your fast pass.
Yeah.
So on the way out, we would find people and go, here, use this. And it would help them get through the lines. We'd ask them, do you have a fast pass? No, we don't have a fast pass. Okay, here you go. So now, when you go in there and you get your fast pass one time only.
Mm.
And then they barcode you. So they know if someone tries to use that again, it's no good. And it's tied to you. So anyway, that was really good. So what we're going to do, that's enough about Halloween Horror Nights. If you got time to go, man, go. So Austin, I'm going to throw yours out there first because we can always come to mine next week or whatever. So you want to talk about, now, I don't know all this stuff, so that's why I surround myself with people that do. What is the Concord Game 2024?
All right, so Concord, if you do not know, it was a game that came out just a couple weeks ago, and it was a game that it's just a 5v5 player versus player. So it's like you log into a game, you log into a match with 4 other users, and you go up against another team with 5 other users. So 5v5, you select your own characters, so they're like pre-made characters and all. But this game was in development for between 8 and 10 years and had a budget, it went over budget. They ended up spending around $150 million on this game just to then have it get such bad reviews and be dead on arrival with a max player base of 660 active users, which when you spend over $100 million, you hope to get more than 600 players at one time. So they ended up shutting down the game just 2 weeks after releasing this massive, massive release. And it was supposed to be a big-time launch title for Sony, a big game for the PS5, because a big thing with the PlayStation 5 and these next-gen consoles are that they haven't had a lot of big headlining games. Like the original Xbox had Halo, PlayStation had like Crash Bandicoot, Nintendo always has their Legend of Zelda and Mario. And then even on the last generation, the PS4 and the Xbox One, like PS4 had The Last of Us 2 still. It had Uncharted 4. But the PS5, and it also had other games like God of War was huge, Spider-Man was huge for Sony.
Right.
But the PS5 really hasn't had anything. But Concord was supposed to be one of their big games, and it ended up completely flopping. So I'll quickly play the trailer of it just so you guys get a better idea of it.
Let's take a look at it, see why it was so bad.
Yeah, and this is a big flop. Here we go. Here's the trailer.
Concord is a 5v5 first-person shooter set in the vibrant sci-fi universe of the Concord Galaxy. In Concord, from the moment you log on, you are part of the crew of the North Star, a group of guns for hire known in our galaxy as free gunners. Free gunners are those lucky enough to be free to roam the stars. They take high-stake jobs on worlds across wild space, where they face other fiercely competitive free gunner crews. Here's the very first look at the gameplay of Concord.
Free gunning. It's hard work, but it's our work, and we don't take it for granted. Being a free gunner means, well, you're free.
Right on target. Yeah, you better run.
Free gunners have a shot at making something of themselves. A chance to be someone.
All right! Need a second to fix myself up.
Why not?
And in the wilds, it's anyone's game. You won't survive on your own.
Target blinded.
Finally, to battle. Endless rage!
We risk our lives every day to do the job.
I'll clear the way. Time to show them the big guns. That's me.
This crew will go anywhere. Take any job. Face any enemy. We're the free gunner crew of the North Star. And together, we're going to make our mark on this galaxy.
So
Well,
yeah, that was Concord. And John, what did you think of the trailer at least?
Okay, so we're gonna jump to one of my stories after this, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. I've never played it, but if that's the kind of gameplay, I kind of felt like it. And you said it was a mix of something. I said it looked more like Borderlands. And you said it was like a mix between Borderlands and what, Overwatch?
Yeah, it's a lot like Overwatch. It's so for those who don't know, Overwatch is a very similar game where it's basically 5v5. They had I think it was originally 6v6, but then in the sequel, Overwatch 2, they brought it down to 5v5. But it's just there's a ton of different different characters, and they're all labeled with different classes. So one's more of a tanky character. So on and so forth. And then basically this game was really identical to it, but the performance issues on it was tremendous. There were so many bugs and glitches and people not being able to get into games. And there's, again, didn't have a large player base to begin with, and people still were
So
having
do you
issues.
have to play with other people?
Yeah, it was an online-only PvP kind of game.
Oh, and with not a lot of people in there, it was hard to get a team.
Yeah, like it was a game it was one of those games where it's like it needs a player base at least to start out with, and just not enough people bought into it originally.
Right.
And just since so many people didn't buy in, and then the few people who did buy in, hoping that the word of mouth would maybe spread good word, it just didn't. It just got panned by everyone in the gaming community for either being a copycat of Overwatch or other games like Rainbow or other games that are already in this realm of gaming that. Those games also had they're very microtransaction heavy, but this game was truly just based on microtransactions. And I feel like so many gamers with recent live service type games where it's like we'll release a game half finished and then finish the rest later on once we start getting that DLC money and like cosmetic money. Just people weren't feeling another one of those, especially after earlier in the year with games like Suicide Squad or big games from like Marvel last year with their Avengers games. Just so many games have been hindered by microtransactions lately that just another one just wasn't. It was guaranteed to flop.
Now,
basically.
microtransactions are like you gotta pay to level up, you gotta pay for this equipment, you gotta pay to be out here, type of thing.
Yeah, that's basically exactly what microtransactions are. Just any kind of purchase you pay after the game comes out, or after you buy the game, after that initial purchase is a microtransaction.
Okay, Yeah, that's why when I see all these online video games, which look really cool to play on your phone, but then when you go to look at it and it says in-app purchases, blah blah blah, I'm like, nope, don't even. I won't even touch them.
Yeah, phone
Yeah.
games are the absolute worst with it. There's
Gotcha.
no industry worse than phone games when it comes to trying to get every little dollar out of you.
Gotcha. Well, it makes sense. Okay, so with that being said, one of the movies I wanted to talk about tonight, and we're going to jump in it. We've got about 20. Is Borderlands. Now, I have had everybody rail on it, including our own nerds. They're all like, "Oh my God, it's going to be crap." Blah 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 blah. Right? And I can see if you're really into the game and you really love the game. I can see people getting where they are, right? I can see them getting all messed up in their head, like the little girl wasn't who she's supposed to be, and all these people are playing all these other people. But if you suspend reality, okay, and remember, it's just a movie and it's just a game, right? And me, who never played Borderlands, I walked in, sat down, and watched it. And not knowing anything about it, I thought it was a pretty damn good movie.
And I find that shocking because I am a fan of the games, and I was told so much by not only my friends but people online, and like you said, the other nerd. Like, this movie was so bad that because of also just like the disservice to the games, that I just never even went out to go find it and watch it because of just how much I've seen it get panned.
Yeah, and see, I understand. I get it. I understand. But again, I've never played. Maybe you can teach me to play Borderlands, and I'll see what the uproar is about. But what I really did not find is everybody was making fun of Kevin Hart, or is it Kevin Hart? Yeah,
it's Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart was in it, and the one guy in the mask thing, or whatever he was like a berserker or whatever they called him. I had no idea who that was. Right. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know who the little girl was. I did know the main character. I've seen her and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I liked it. It was just a typical sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
And and after I don't know. Oh, hey, Bill's with us. And Mark's even said the same thing. True. After they saw what we did to their Native American brothers with guns, booze, disease, they want nothing to do with us. I don't know. Oh, that's a Bigfoot thing. Jesus Christ. I don't know how that got in there. But I know why. I know exactly what the guy's saying, but that's not what this. We're not talking about that. But yeah, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible. I'm just saying. Now, and people can get mad at me, yell at me, tell me I'm a moron, but I really don't care. I thought it was pretty good. So there. That's Boss Tech's. I used to have a little swipey thing that went Boss Tech's opinions. He's a moron. No, I'm just kidding. So let's jump into the next one. You're talking about now Ubisoft. Now I know who Ubisoft is, right? Mm-hmm. And their stock downturn with. So was it Star Wars Outlaws that was kind of like the final straw, or was because Assassin's Creed was a big thing for them.
Yeah. So I'll quickly show this image. This is just over this past year, and you see how much it's already gone down. It's gone down 55% in just a year. And I think it's been a lot. Of course, there was a game that came out last fall called Sea of Thieves, which was a pirate adventure game where it basically was trying to take so about 10 years ago, there was a game, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
Yes, loved it.
Yeah, that was their big pirate game, and they're like, okay, we need to capitalize on this pirate game and make another pirate game. It took them 10 years to spit one out, and they went through so many overhauls that in the end, it basically was a mobile game just on a console, which was just a multiplayer pirate ship game where you just sail around the seas and attack enemy ships. And like when you say you need to go mine for some new like stuff to be able to build some stuff to craft, like crafting items.
Right.
Instead of like getting off your ship and going on an island and exploring the land to be able to go get those crafting items, instead you just stay on your boat, you sail next to an island, and you just tap a button and you slowly mine whatever materials you need
Wait,
off the island.
You don't get to get off and explore the island?
No, and so so like if it was
That's
just
a
like
shame.
if it was like a $30 game, it would be like whatever. But instead, Ubisoft labeled it. I'll see if I can quickly find it. But they labeled this as their first quadruple A game. Of course, normal $60 games are triple A. But they labeled this pirate ship game quadruple A and marked it up like an extra $20 off of that like $60 mark. And then I think that was another thing that was starting to break the camel's back. But then this Star Wars Outlaws game, I think, really did it. So I'm going to quickly play a video here from a guy named Asmongold. He really has been watching Ubisoft recently.
Yeah.
And how far it's been really going down. So I'll quickly play his clip.
Did you see Ubisoft stock price drop today? No, let me see. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, this is terrible. Tepid Star Wars Outlaws reception sinks Ubisoft stock. Star Wars Outlaws may have been reviewed okay enough. Yeah, this is the fucking problem. How is it that the games keep getting reviewed well, but nobody buys them? And so we have right here, Ubisoft shares are now down 13% in the wake of the launch of Star Wars Outlaws, which analysts say have failed to meet target sales. You want to know the real reason why this game isn't successful? The game inside of the core DNA of the game, down to its chromosomal level, was a piece of fucking shit. You can't kill the livestock, but you can pet them? What the fuck is this? Star Wars Outlaws, but you could only steal from the police? Reviewers need to stop giving these games. You need to stop giving these games good reviews when they're bad. If Assassin's Creed Shadows crashes out, I actually think that there's a good chance that Ubisoft could be cooked. Like, if you actually look at the combat here, it's really bad. It is. It's yeah, maybe they're done. I mean, like, can you imagine if you bought this stock in 2021? This stock has gone down worse than most NFTs have. Like, if you had invested in a Bored Ape, you would have retained more value than investing in Ubisoft. That's crazy.
So do you think they have a chance of coming back?
I mean, I think so. I keep up with Ubisoft a little because I was honestly an Assassin's Creed fanboy back in high school. And so recently they've basically been saying that they have put all their eggs into the Assassin's Creed basket outside of the Star Wars Outlaws game that just came out, which flopping sales-wise, review. So this is interesting. It gets good reviews, like 7 and 8s from these big outlets like IGN and GameSpot. But if you watch more independent reviewers, they all pan the game and hammer it down. So never really pay attention to the IGN box number anymore.
Okay, so my question to you is this: so out of all the games they've produced, what's the percentage that did really well?
Sales wise.
No. Sales wise.
Okay, so sales wise, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which was the last true full $60 quadruple A game, that actually sold pretty well, but it got mixed reviews. The last Assassin's Creed to be truly praised was probably Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag in 2013.
Okay, so that's all they produce. Is just they're not known for anything other than
they
Assassin's
also have
Creed.
Earlier when I was talking about the PvP games, they also do have Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh.
So
okay,
they do have that, but that game also, it released in a broken state. It kind of started bouncing back in 2017, 2018 when they started to truly update it, and now more recently streamers have kind of brought it. So Ubisoft still has Rainbow Six to rely on, but Assassin's Creed, it's been just a slow. But when I say Assassin's Creed Valhalla was like a sales success, it's still, I'm pretty sure it sold less than Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which was the one released before that. And then, but this is going back to 2017, 2018. Like they haven't released much in the last 5 years. Because even Rainbow Six released in 2015. So they haven't released a high quality product in 7 or 8 years.
Okay. So I went on the Google, right? And said, how many? So they've done 22 games in their portfolio total.
Wow.
Right. So if they've done that many games, I mean, go back since 2006. It's Rayman Raving Rabbits, Three Dimensions of Murder, Rayman, Prince of Persia Classics. I do remember that. Chess Master, The Art of Learning Live, Style Lab Makeover, Rabbids Go Home. There's something about their rabbits. Ghost Recon, that was huge.
Yeah, Ghost Recon. It was huge more on the Gen, I believe PlayStation 2 is Gen 6. But
it says
they do have more recent Ghost Recons, but
right.
They had Ghost Recon Wildlands. It came out to mixed reviews in around 2016. They came out with a sequel, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which
Shadow Wars
got panned.
Right. Prince of Persia trilogy. I do remember that one. That was actually kind of cool.
Yeah, fun fact, Assassin's Creed, the very first Assassin's Creed was supposed to be a Prince of Persia game. But they ended up switching it to Assassin's Creed and making their own IP out of it.
Then they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 Assassin's Creeds.
A lot of they're putting their, and they even more recently they announced their like Assassin's Creed World, where they have they've announced 3 or 4 games all on Assassin's Creed. They are going all in on Assassin's Creed because they're running out of other things.
And I know a lot of people hated it, but I loved the Assassin's Creed movie.
Really?
I did. Okay, so we were talking about this. So we've had a very full day of production here, right? Mm-hmm. So Austin and I, we decided we got to go eat. We got to get some energy for the show because when we eat, then we can stop and get our ice cream because we have a little ice cream shop across the street from us here, and it's absolutely phenomenal.
That is very true.
So the Spot Creamery, absolutely phenomenal. I know the owner; he's a really cool dude. He's a nerd. Actually, named his son Anakin. Just
craziest
that's just how
thing
cool.
I think I've heard all week. Week just started, but craziest thing I've heard all week.
Right, exactly. So, so we were talking about my idea of watching movies has to go from, I think we all have to suspend. We have to walk in and go, and I've preached this for years on this show. You got to walk in and go, it's just a movie. It's just a movie. It is just a movie. That's all it is, right? Mm-hmm. So if you can go in and go, it's just a movie, and let everything go, and just watch the movie for the entertainment itself. Now, if you walk out and go, holy shit, that director was a dumbass. That producer, the head camera guy was crazy. The shots were stupid, blah, blah, blah. And it was grainy, it was this, it was blah, blah, blah. The color wasn't right. Get it. I totally get it. Totally get it. Mm-hmm. Right? But if the cinematography was good, the special effects were good, the writing was pretty decent. It was one of those things where you just let it go, man, and enjoy it for what it was. Now me, like with Borderlands, I really didn't know anything. Mm. Even with Halo, I didn't play Halo. I loved the series. No idea that there was, like the other nerds in our crew are like, oh, it didn't follow this, and it didn't follow that, and it didn't follow this, and it didn't follow that. Don't care. Mm. Watched it for what it was, and it was good. So Borderlands, I went in going, everybody's like, oh, it's crazy, it's this, blah, 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 blah. Just watched it for what it was. I loved it. Beetlejuice, right? We don't have time to show the thing. We're just talking about. Watched Beetlejuice. Loved it. Is it better than the first? I don't know, and I'll tell you why I don't know. When we first watched the first when everybody went to the theaters and saw the first Beetlejuice, we were blown away because, you know what? We've not seen anything like that. Mm-hmm. We had no idea what to expect. So Beetlejuice is well, we all had a preconception of, well, it's got to be this or it's going to be that or blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't, you know. They had some of the original characters. Actually, almost all the original characters were there.
Wow.
Except for the husband, which he died. So he couldn't be in it.
Yeah, tough to get him.
But they did a cartoony thing for him, and then they had him. I don't want to give it away. In a way, he's there. In a way, he's not there. Right. So yeah, it's one of those things where let it go. I mean, I think I blew your mind when I said this. I actually liked the original Green Lantern.
That did blow my mind. That really was a mind-blowing thing. Which we didn't talk about this earlier, but now I wonder, how did you feel then about the original Deadpool, the one with his mouth sewed shut?
Oh, X.
Yeah.
Right? I loved it.
Really?
Yeah, because again, okay, so I am a nerd. Well, hello, Miss Susan. Hello, Miss Annette. We got people coming in now. That's awesome. So that was the Wolverine. That was a Wolverine story, and he happened to show up, right?
Yeah.
Well, the thing of it is, when I say I'm a nerd, I love all things nerd. Comic books, movies, tech, figurines. I mean, if you saw the place, you'd think I was a 10-year-old. And, and Annette Smetsers is watching too. So I really, my wife tells me I'm a 10-year-old trapped in a 58-year-old man's body. It's just what it is. I love that. But I don't worry about going deep on stuff, right? I don't go and I never knew there was a Walking Dead comic book. Started watching the Walking Dead movies.
I didn't know that either.
I
that just
love
blew my mind. I didn't
all
know there was a
things
Walking Dead
Walking
comic book.
Everything Walking Dead, I love it. I love it. Now, have I since then got the books? Absolutely, and I love them, right? And it doesn't bother me that they truly didn't follow the books. They followed the books for the most part, but they didn't follow it like, oh, hey Amanda, how you doing, darling? So it's really one of those. I just watch it for what it is, right? So not knowing anything about the Green Lantern, other than I knew who Green Lantern was. I know his character, the home of the ring, and I know there's other rings and blah, 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 blah. But I let that all go. And one of the biggest reasons I liked that movie is because that was Hollywood's way of testing out visual effects and special effects. Because before that, we really didn't have a lot of those effects going on. I mean, other than Star Wars and stuff like that, blah, 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 right? But I love it when people come on and say hi to me, Miss Amanda, and Annette, and Suzanne, and O'Mara was on there for a little bit, it looks like. But I really did, so I just, get the storyline out of the thing, and then let the movie be the movie. It was really good. So, and I'm really weird about that. Like, I love all the Star Wars movies. I don't sit there and go, oh, it wasn't canon. Oh, it wasn't this. Oh, it wasn't that. It was garbage. I don't care. I liked it because it was entertaining. And yes, even the creepy, weird falling in love with the two Goo-Goos. And yes, and we talked about this as well. We saw those love scenes, the outtakes that didn't make the movie, and they were actually better than the ones that were in the movie.
Oh, yeah, for Padme and Anakin in episode 2.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so everybody just needs to chill, right? And just go watch a movie. I went and watched Twisters, right? Not only did I watch Twisters, the second Twister, right? I bought it. I made my wife watch it. Me and my wife and Cage watched it. I've literally watched that stinking movie 8 times since I bought it. But as a matter of fact, I watched it I didn't watch it on the way up. When I was driving, I had it playing.
Yeah.
Because now I'm getting to the point where I kind of know it, right? So, So I think it's just one of those things that. I guess because I'm not a deep diver on a lot of stuff. Now, when it comes to tech, I deep dive. We've introduced tech here in the studio in the last 2 days. That's going to change, our way we shoot, and it's going to be awesome, right?
I think especially for the game to movie, it's hard for people to let go of just the overall IP and just like the idea of like all the stuff that goes into an IP. But for a defense for movies, that it's hard to cover like say in like a game, it's like a 12-hour to 16-hour story. It's hard to cover that much material just for one game and throw it all into a movie. Especially like Borderlands, the recent one. I mean, there's been 3 Borderlands games that they're trying to squeeze as much fan service on top of trying to make their own little story to add on to the universe. But that's tough to do in just 2 hours max.
It is, and you know what? And that's what I'm saying. I mean, oh my God, the people that watched Harry Potter for the first time, and then once they got to like the 3rd or 4th movie, people lost their stinking minds. Oh my God, they didn't follow the book. Blah 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 blah. Do you realize to take that whole book series and do movies that followed it? That would be a 50-year project. And it would take forever. Shit, by the time I watched the first one and finally got to the end, I could retire. Seriously, I would be that old. There's no way, because I've listened to my wife, and I've, let's see, well, oh, wait a minute, Amanda says, Twisters rocks. Haven't seen the new one yet, but I was telling my husband I wanted to go see Am I Racist by Matt Walsh. Oh. That's actually a really, that's actually, you need to go, yes, it's very good. It's hilarious. It's sad, but it's hilarious. But where was I at? Oh, yeah, so you can't ever get a movie. I mean, look at Lord of the Rings, for God's sake. Oh, they couldn't even get a quarter of the books into what they did. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand what you meant there, honey, racist. So, it can't happen. And when we go back to Deadpool, I had no idea who Deadpool was. I had no idea at all. I mean, when he showed up in the first original, when there at the Wolverine with his, Wade, everybody's like, oh my God, they're introducing Deadpool, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, who's Deadpool?
It's crazy.
I don't know who, and then people started telling me who he was. So my hierarchy of superheroes has always been Superman first, Hulk second, right? Mm-hmm. That's my hierarchy. Now it's Deadpool, Superman, right? Right there, neck and neck.
Tied.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, they're tied. And then then Hulk. Mm-hmm. So, but and he is the merc with the mouth. That is absolutely the most hilarious thing in the whole wide world. So now we only have a couple of minutes left. And what's this thing about? What is it? Astrobot?
Oh yeah, so Astrobot. It's basically the one kind of bright spot for gaming this year. Okay. Where Astrobot is basically PlayStation's new flagship platformer game. It's kind of taken over Crash Bandicoot's role as their number one flagship game, and it's kind of out of nowhere. It's just a little under the radar game that all of a sudden has exploded because a lot of gamers and stuff are kind of calling it like it's what gaming is supposed to be, where it's just a quick, fun platforming experience, no microtransactions, no long, drawn-out, huge, open, empty spaces of just travel area. It's really just a cool little platforming game.
And it's so is it multi-platform?
No, so it's a Sony exclusive.
Sony exclusive.
Yeah, only Sony players can have it, which I find very interesting that Xbox has been trying to. So I don't know how much you keep up with gaming companies being bought, but Xbox over the last couple of years has gone through and completely started buying up a ton of the gaming sphere. Of course, they had that lawsuit last year over them buying Activision because, of course, they own Call of Duty.
Right.
And they ended up having to make a deal where they guaranteed that would come out on both platforms still. Recently, they also bought Bethesda, which is, of course, known for Fallout and the Elder Scrolls series.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they said Elder Scrolls would still come out on both consoles, but they might have tried retracting that and trying to say it's only coming out on Xbox. But the last Bethesda game to come out did come out on both consoles. And Xbox is clearly trying to become the main hub for just home entertainment.
Right.
And trying to let everyone still play their stuff in whichever way possible. But Sony is still trying to keep the console wars alive by coming out with a exclusive, still trying to kill Microsoft off completely.
Okay, I got a question. Are you Sony or are you Xbox?
I am currently a Sony guy. I was Microsoft for a little with like Xbox 360 and with Halo and stuff. But
that's what a lot of people are saying. Yeah.
But Halo's just kind of, it's sadly dying.
So,
and just like Xbox just really hasn't had the exclusives. Plus their hardware is actually slightly better than Sony, but Sony just announced, I should have made this a topic. Sony just announced the PS5 Pro, which is a $700 barely an upgrade of a console, where I should have brought it up, but they recently released a PS5 and a PS5 Pro comparison,
right?
Where the graphics are no different, but the console's $700, and it does not come with the ability to put discs into it. It is an online. You have to buy the game on the console, and that's the only way you can have it. You cannot stick a disc in it.
All right, so I got something that I don't know if you've heard this or not. So if you're watching on area52tv.com and you want to continue this conversation, jump over to our Facebook page, which is Nerd Talk, and we're gonna go a little bit longer than normal tonight because we've been away for a while and we got a lot to talk about. So the reason I asked that question is if you are an Xbox guy, right? Mm-hmm. And you like Samsung TVs, you can get a Samsung TV, and I think it's 65 to the 85. I think it might be in the 55 as well, I think. Mm-hmm. You can buy a Samsung TV with a built-in Xbox.
I did. That's where I was like, how they're trying to be the home entertainment. Like, they're really just trying to be on whatever they can get on. Same with their Game Pass of like only, I think they might have recently increased the price, but it's originally only $5 a month for basically any game that's in the Xbox library, which they're really going towards the, just trying to be as easily accessible as possible, whereas Sony is kind of going now the more like the Nintendo route, where of course Nintendo, all their stuff is only on their consoles. You can't get a Mario or a Zelda game on anything else. The Nintendo's Nintendo, and it seems like Sony is going more towards that way, which might be because Sony is of course an Asian-based company, whereas Microsoft is American, so that might be where kind of like why Sony might be splitting, because they're just following more of like what companies have done in the past, whereas Microsoft is trying to just expand. Because Microsoft actually, in a news article, they announced about a couple months ago that they fully are aware that they have completely lost the console wars in the last generation, the PS4 versus Xbox One, and that they're trying to play catch up in any way they can. And so I think this is the way they're doing it.
And so that makes a difference, because if I went and looked up the price for the Samsung 55, 65, 70, and oh my God, they're not cheap. But you're not also buying a console, you know.
True.
And then you can go through your Microsoft account, and you can play games on Stream. Is it Stream?
Steam.
Steam. So if you have a Steam account and you have an Xbox account, now you have a television that it's not all Wi-Fi. You can actually plug a cable in the back of it. And Samsung TVs are pretty badass. As the guys on the street would say, Sony guts, right? So Sony guts. And but it gives you the ability to be able to take your Bluetooth controllers and play on your television without having to get a console. So now you got a nice clean wall, all your cables that come up there, no console needed. Not that I wouldn't say I'd want a console, but you know, if I'm going to spend that much money on I think a 65 was running like $1,500.
Wow.
But again, you're paying for a high-end television, which the refresh rate is ridiculous on the TV, right? So now you're playing now you actually have a TV that is kind of like having a big professional editing monitor. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then you have all your smart apps and stuff like that. So, but that's why I've always wanted. I did a show with Tech Shamans about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, and we were talking about that very thing. But they weren't on the market yet. Amanda says that she goes, I love PlayStation, but I wish PS2 games played on the new. You know, that's everybody says that. I can't understand why you can't. I know you can't play the disc, but why do they not have the PS2 games on the PS2 app that you can download and play?
Oh, they've if you have the membership, they've slowly started to drizzle out certain PS2 games like I forget what exactly. It's like a Cloud and Darkness or something like that. A PS2 game that is now you can purchase that. There's also like the original Red Dead Redemption from the PS3. You can now play on next gen. So it's only a select number, but
Right.
I wish I could tell you. I think they should have all their games. But I remember when they first did backwards compatibility, though.
Yeah.
They were having a lot of glitches and just it wasn't working at all. But hopefully they're slow, which I don't quite understand how it can't be that hard to port PS2 games because there's a ton of remasters that come out, which
Right.
is barely graphical enhancements. But another thing with also with Xbox trying to partner up with just a ton of people to kind of get back into the race was they were also the first people to partner up with Discord. Of course, PlayStation ended up doing the same thing because the Discord is the one of, if not the most used kind of voice chat, voice tap medium. to
Yeah,
be able
so
to
that
talk
way
to
you
each
can
other.
talk back and forth. My kids use it all the time. I used to listen there. They were screaming, yelling, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, who are you screaming? Oh, we're all on one. We're all playing in the game. And we're all talking to each other real time. And I'm like, well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so Microsoft was the first to do that, but I mean, Microsoft has always been kind of ahead of the curve when it comes to partnering up or trying to get the newest tech stuff, whereas Sony always seems to lag behind. It's just that Sony just tends to, when it comes to releasing the better games, Sony just always gets it done.
Gotcha. Well, we're gonna call it a night. I'll save some of my stuff for next week because it looks like to me you and I are not going to have everything. We literally have not hit even half of the list. So, but everybody, thanks for watching tonight. We appreciate it. Thanks, Amanda. We appreciate you tuning in on us. Go see the new Twister. You're gonna like it. I'm telling you. It's okay. So it's a love story. It literally kind of follows the same line as the original Twister. And again, suspend reality when you go in. You're going to go watch a movie. Yes, we've already. You know why we all love Twister, the original Twister?
Why?
It's because we haven't seen anything like that. You know, we hadn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was good. It's like, wow, this is great. We've never seen this before, and you know, it played well. I went and watched it the other day. Oh my God. I love it, but it's the hokey, dude. The cameras were just, it's in some of the special effects. I'm sitting there going, cannot believe I still love this movie, but I loved Helen Hunt. So, I don't know. I mean, it might be still in IMAX because that is definitely a movie you want to see in IMAX.
The original Twister or the new one?
Huh? The new one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the new one. So anyway, everybody, thanks for watching tonight. We appreciate it. We love you all. And, you know, we want everybody to have a great things. You know, we are going to have some political nerd stuff coming up. And by the way, Austin and I are starting a new show called What the Sport. And we are going to talk about sports from around the world. We may talk a little bit of football, baseball, basketball, U.S., but it's really about all the stuff around the world. And the stuff we have found is absolutely amazing.
Yep.
And we cannot wait. Huh?
That's unpopular stuff
Right.
that's not really known, especially not really known in the U.S. audiences.
yeah.
Or if it is in the U.S., it's got a really small base currently.
Exactly. All right, everybody. Everybody have a good night. We appreciate you all. We love you all. And we will see you next week at the same time, 7 p.m. And we look forward to talking to you then. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.